Dear viewers, the Caribbean and the Bahamas are entering a particularly complex weather phase. Facing a powerful low-pressure trough and a newly identified tropical wave that has just been highlighted by the U.S. National Hurricane Center. This tropical wave is moving quickly across the Atlantic and may develop into a tropical depression, or even a tropical storm, once it reaches the eastern and central Caribbean in the coming days. This means that from this weekend into early next week, several island nations across the region could experience widespread heavy rain, thunderstorms, strong winds, rough seas, and localized flash flooding. Residents of Antigua, Dominica, Guadeloupe, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, the Cayman Islands, Hispaniola, and surrounding islands are urged to stay alert, follow official weather bulletins closely, and prepare for worsening conditions should the system strengthen faster than expected. At the moment, the main weather focus is a broad low-pressure trough stretching east to west across the eastern Caribbean. Under the influence of strong moisture inflow combined with a weak tropical wave to the south, large clusters of thunderstorms have formed, bringing torrential rain, frequent lightning, and gusty winds. Today, islands such as Antigua, Barbuda, Guadeloupe, Dominica, and St. Kitts and Nevis have recorded heavy rainfall totals between 50 and 75 millimeters, 2 to 3 inches. With some locations exceeding 150 millimeters, over 6 inches, within 24 hours. In the hilly areas, runoff has caused urban flooding and triggered landslide risks. Local governments have issued flood warnings and urged residents to avoid travel unless absolutely necessary. Across the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, scattered showers and strong thunderstorms have persisted throughout the day, especially during the afternoon and evening. Wind gusts at Road Town, in the British Virgin Islands, have reached up to 60 km per hour, 40 miles per hour. And dangerous lightning activity is expected to continue overnight. In Haiti and the Dominican Republic, thunderstorms have spread from the eastern coastline of Santo Domingo into the Central Highlands, causing rivers to rise quickly. The Meteorological Office of the Dominican Republic warns that landslides and flash floods are likely, particularly in mountainous regions where soils are already saturated. Jamaica is also experiencing unsettled weather. Repeated rounds of heavy downpours have affected Kingston, St. Catherine, St. Andrew, and Portland, prompting the National Emergency Agency to warn of urban flooding in low-lying and coastal neighborhoods. Farther west, the Cayman Islands have reported scattered thunderstorms throughout the day, especially during the evening. Storm activity is now expanding westward across the Caribbean, reaching toward Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, where Cancun and Cozumel are beginning to see scattered thunderstorm development. Meanwhile, the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos remain relatively dry under partly sunny skies with only a few brief showers. Overall, much of the Caribbean today lies within a broad belt of deep tropical moisture, producing widespread convection from the Lesser Antilles through the Central Basin. This pattern is expected to persist at least through Friday before changing as the incoming tropical wave approaches. According to the National Hurricane Center, the tropical wave under observation is still far to the east, about 1.400 kilometers, 870 miles, from the Lesser Antilles, but it is tracking steadily westward toward the warm Caribbean Sea. Forecast models indicate that within the next 2 to 3 days, the system will reach the eastern Caribbean, where environmental conditions will become more favorable for development. Sea surface temperatures of 29 to 30 degrees Celsius, 84 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Low vertical wind shear, and high mid-level humidity. These are the classic ingredients that could help the wave organize into a defined area of low pressure. The USGFS model projects that this system will begin influencing weather across the southern Windward Islands, Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and Grenada, by Sunday, bringing squally rain and gusty winds. As it moves deeper into the central Caribbean, the wave could stall for a day or two, then gradually consolidate and possibly develop into a tropical depression by midweek. The European ECMWF model, by contrast, suggests that development might occur earlier, perhaps just before reaching the island chain, but at a slower forward speed and with a slightly more westward track. which would shift heavier rain toward the Venezuelan coast and the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, Curaçao. Some AI and ensemble models, such as Google DeepMind, also indicate the potential for a closed circulation, though the exact center varies widely. Some runs place it southeast of Jamaica. Others near the central Caribbean or closer to Honduras. Despite these differences, nearly all models agree that the Caribbean next week will host a potentially dangerous system that requires close monitoring. In the next 72 hours, the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos will remain mostly stable with sunshine, light winds, and only isolated showers, ideal weather for tourism. In Cuba, scattered showers will develop mainly across the eastern and central provinces, while Havana and the western region stay mostly dry. By early next week, rainfall in eastern Cuba is expected to increase as the tropical wave moves westward. Jamaica, already soaked from recent rains, will continue to see numerous showers and thunderstorms through the weekend, with heavier downpours possible early next week as the system passes to its south or east. Kingston and St. Thomas may experience urban flooding where drainage is poor. The Cayman Islands will have intermittent rain through the weekend, possibly accompanied by gusts of 50 to 60 km per hour, 30 to 40 miles per hour, and rough seas around 2 to 3 meters, 6 to 10 feet. In Belize, Honduras, and Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, rain will be scattered and uneven but likely to increase late in the weekend as the wave expands westward. Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and Hispaniola will remain among the rainiest areas in the short term. Puerto Rico will see moderate to heavy rainfall with thunderstorms, while the Dominican Republic faces significant rainfall across its eastern and central regions, raising the risk of flash flooding and landslides. Conditions may briefly improve over the weekend before heavy rain returns early next week. For the Lesser Antilles, rainfall patterns will vary. Northern islands such as Antigua, Barbuda, Saint Martin, and Saint Barts will dry out gradually by Saturday. Central islands like Guadeloupe, Dominica, and Martinique may have a short lull in rainfall on Saturday before new rounds of storms arrive Sunday. Southern islands including St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Grenada, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago are expected to see a sharp increase in heavy rain and gusty winds beginning Sunday and lasting into early next week. Marine conditions will deteriorate across the eastern Caribbean starting Saturday, as easterly trade winds strengthen to 25 to 35 km per hour, 15 to 20 knots, producing wave heights of 1.5 to 3 meters, 5 to 10 feet, especially between Barbados, St. Lucia, and Grenada. Should the tropical system organize further, waves could exceed 4 to 5 meters, 15 feet, posing a hazard to small vessels and nearshore activities. The Bahamas and Turks and Caicos should remain relatively calm through the short term, while seas around Jamaica, Cayman, and the southern windwards will turn increasingly rough by Sunday. With abundant atmospheric moisture, coastal areas will experience changeable conditions, brief heavy showers, shifting winds, and frequent lightning, making this an unfavorable period for fishing or recreational boating. Overall, the Caribbean and Bahamas are entering one of the most volatile periods of the season so far. Two systems are acting simultaneously: the existing low-pressure trough bringing ongoing heavy rain and the approaching tropical wave that could evolve into a storm early next week. Residents across the eastern and central Caribbean should follow weather updates at least twice daily. Review emergency plans, secure loose outdoor items, and stock essentials such as water, food, flashlights, batteries, and medication. Even without a named storm, the cumulative rainfall from back-to-back systems could cause dangerous flooding. If development occurs, the next name on the Atlantic list would be Melissa. Fishermen are advised to stay in port whenever winds exceed 25 knots or waves surpass 2 meters. Travelers should keep in touch with hotel management or local tourism authorities for safety guidance. Local governments should inspect drainage systems, reservoirs, and issue timely flood alerts. In the longer term, from late October into early November, Meteorologists expect tropical cyclone activity across the Caribbean to increase as the Madden-Julian oscillation shifts into a favorable phase. This means that the 2025 hurricane season is far from over. And one or two additional storms could still form before November. Nature often surprises us, but with modern forecasting technology, we have the advantage of time to prepare, time to stay safe. The key right now is calm vigilance, stay informed, plan ahead, and act early. Preparedness is our greatest protection. If you are living in or traveling through the Caribbean or the Bahamas, we invite you to share weather photos or videos from your area with us. If you found this forecast useful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an important update. We will continue to monitor this developing situation and bring you the latest analysis as the tropical wave approaches and the models reach better agreement. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, and may you remain protected throughout this active tropical season. We'll see you again soon in our next update.